have control. Breach in 5, 4, 3.
What's up, guys? I'm Uncle Freedom, coming to you on another glorious and well-deserved day off. And today we're going to look at part 2 of that PMCS stuff. And we're going to talk about PMCS standards for your rifle. Now, I will caveat this initially by saying that PMCS standards on a rifle will be very different if you don't carry a rifle every day for work. But for someone like me, or someone that goes to the range an inordinately large amount of times, good on you, American boy, get it! You are going to need to do work to that firearm to ensure that it maintains its efficacy and runs optimally no matter what situation you may find yourself in, because AR platforms, which is primarily what I'm going to speak to in this video, don't like to be run dry. That's how you cause new problems. I know, you can do it. Just because you can don't mean you should. So anyway, part 2 of this, developing your PMCS for your rifles. If this is the first video you've got into on this topic, welcome. Good to see you. PMCS means Preventative Maintenance Checks and Services. It's basically ensuring that we catch problems with our equipment before it becomes a problem when we need the equipment. If you're looking to support the channel, take a look down below in the description box. There is a link that goes to my link tree where all of the affiliates of the channel exist. So if you're looking to get cool new stuff for your firearm, like an Acro or maybe a Surefire or an agency arms mag release or a new rifle, Primary Arms is an affiliate of the channel. Just follow that link. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And if you use those links when you make a purchase you were going to make anyway, it helps the channel. And for that, I thank you. So PMCS on a rifle. It's a little different than your handgun. I can't put a rifle down my pants. I mean, maybe if I was running Jinkos or Pacos, I might could. Probably not. But we're going to expose this to a lot more stuff. But rifles have a little bit of a different use. So daily, for me, if I was going to, say, pick up my rifle, I don't even have one down here. That's all right. So if I was going to pick up my rifle like when I go to work, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to get it out of the safe at the station in the arms room, and I'm going to come up and I'm going to check that dot. And then I'm going to point it at a very white wall, and I'm going to hit my light, and I'm going to look at my dot in that white light on the wall and make sure my dot is bright enough to go throughout my day. Because we don't get to pick the environments in which we have to use these things, and it's best to be prepared for the absolute worst case scenario, because if it's very dark and I I put a dot on somebody, odds are I turn the light on because I can't see them. And I just know they're bad from something that happened prior to it. Or, like most other times, I mean, I've been in very dark environments hunting through an optic and, looking for somebody, and walked into a building and like all the lights came on. And if I had had my optic turned down to where it wasn't blooming at all in the dark, I would have never seen it in that room. So I will check my dot, I will check my light, and I will give myself the same good 10 dry fire reps. Ready up drills, where I will come up, acquire the dot, spot on the wall inside of our garage before I leave. I'm going to also look around at all of my witness marks on the firearm, and I'm going to make sure none of those have moved. Something I will do at the end of my shift when I am at work, because I run a weapon-mounted light, if I have found myself using that weapon-mounted light for any reason, I will swap that battery out, because all of mine run on rechargeables, and I will put a new 18650 in and put that 18650 on the charger that came out of the gun. The reason being, yes, I know it has an hour of runtime. However, I have been in situations where I have completely killed a battery that was fresh in a rifle light. It can happen, right? Like, we're not planning for the optimal. You have to be doing this stuff thinking about what would be the worst way this could go down. That's what we're looking for, because Murphy gets a vote, and that's probably how it's going to go. So every week, I'm going to do a few additional things on this. I'm going to clean the lenses on my optics to make sure they're fine. I am also going to treat those with cat crap and, more than likely, Rain-X. That's going to throw someone for a loop. Well, Rain-X makes water bead off of things. If we are standing outside in the rain, there is a high likelihood I will have water on my lenses. And since we're not constantly shooting, and sometimes we're just watching the thing and hoping it stops doing whatever bad stuff it was doing so we don't have to shoot it, I don't want collected water to cloud my vision. Rain-X solves that problem, cat crap that keeps things from fogging up when I go from things like a very cold, air-conditioned patrol truck to the ass crack of summer when I'm standing outside. Something else I'm going to do every week also is I'm going to check all of my screws. There are a lot of screws attached to your AR depending on how you have it set up. We are talking about things like your M-LOK stuff, your key mod stuff, your foregrip, your light mount, your pistol grip on the bottom. Like, we have to go check these things. Let's make sure they work and function at least once a week so that we don't come up and then rip the foregrip off, because I have done that in a class. Note to self, always check those things. And then that's it. That's my weekly endeavor. Now, the same platform I take a kind of a thought process to with a handgun, which is I am at the range at minimum once a month, and that once a month I will do at minimum confirming a 0. But I want to go every couple of weeks, maybe every week. But let's say, for the sake of argument, you can only go once a month. Well, once a month I'm going to go and I'm going to confirm my 0, not just the 0 on my dot. If I'm running like an LPVO, I'm going to confirm that 0. I'm then going to confirm my offset dot 0. Then I'm going to confirm my Viz laser and my IR laser if you run those on the firearm, because it doesn't do you any good if the day you go to use these things, because again, we don't pick when we do this stuff. So the bad guy goes first. You're always playing catch up. If you're playing catch up and you were like, I'm going to check my 0 next week, and your stuff's off by like 12 inches, that's a bad day. It happens, man. Here's the thing. People say that'll never happen. Bull. I will tell you, if you work in an institutional environment, I have come to work and rifles have been in completely different spaces inside of a safe. Why? Because when somebody grabbed theirs out, the sling caught something and it ripped people's stuff out and threw it onto the floor. You can knock things loose without you having control over it. So also, something I'm going to do every month is I am at minimum going to replace the battery in my laser aiming module. So whether that's the PEC, or whether that's the PERST, or whether that's the D-ball or the MAL, I am going to replace that. Why am I going to replace that? Because I have had that thing get inadvertently contacted on IR only mode in a safe or in the truck. Which means that unless I put on night vision, I had no freaking idea that thing was on. And what happened? Maybe it got turned off. Maybe it was just completely dead. But as a part of my stuff, I check, I make sure it works before I leave. But there is no guarantee that your stuff didn't get fired off a bunch of times that you didn't do it. Especially in an institutional environment where we carry these things for a living every day, it happens. So I replace that battery every single month without fail. And then we're going to move on to the quarterly checks on my rifle. So every quarter, I am going to do a full wipe down. Now, I am not going to rip this thing apart and, run a cleaning rod down the barrel until I get clean white patches. No. I'm going to shotgun that AR. I'm going to pull the charging handle out. I'm going to pull the bolt carrier group out. I'm going to wipe off the charging handle. I'm going to make sure I don't have any gunk inside of my receiver. And then I'm going to look down and make sure I don't have any crap crammed into my trigger. And then I'm going to wipe that bolt off, and I'm going to turn the bolt upside down and set it down on the table, and I'm going to check those gas rings real quick. Easy fix. Causes malfunctions if you don't catch it. It's a cheap fix. I always keep a bunch of gas rings at my desk. If I notice my gas rings are losing their ability, I pop them out real quick before I go out for the day. Pull that out, put new gas rings on, good to go. And then I'm also going to lube it at that time. Remember, ARs don't run particularly well if they are bone dry, so lube your stuff. And again, that is entirely dependent on the type of lube you use. I will tell you this burns off really fast. I will tell you this burns off even faster. I will tell you that Lucas gun oil, actually pretty good, doesn't burn off as quick, has some real issues when we get in cold weather. But again, I run this stuff. These guys aren't an affiliate. I don't make crap. Cherrybalms.com, CHERRYBALMZ.com is who makes this stuff. It's called the Black Rifle Field Balm. They also have the Black Rifle Balm, Rimfire Remedy, Bolt Balm. They have a bunch of different stuff. They even have a specific freezing weather one. But this stuff's been excellent. Makes the ARs run really reliable. It stays where you put it, because we've all done this where we had the AR in the truck or in the safe, and like all of your lube like leaked out the back by where the buffer assembly is, and you just had this wet spot, and that means that none of the lube is up here where it's supposed to be. This doesn't have that problem. It also doesn't burn off. We're talking thousands of rounds between needing to relube with this stuff. It's really, really good. Like really good. It's not super expensive, like $13 for this, but this is a lot of freaking lube because it doesn't take a lot. So I'm going to lube that down, check my gas rings, and then I'm good, right? We'll go with that. And then we hit the yearly challenge yet again for the rifle. So if you are law enforcement, at least once a year, you have to qual on rifles and handguns and everything else. That is an excellent time to swap all your batteries. And when I say all of your batteries, I mean all of your batteries. Go ahead, switch them out on the rifle stuff. I'm going to do a full clean after the qualification, like a full tear down clean, patch the barrel out, clean stuff up. I'm going to do a full inspection. I want to look at all my springs and make sure I don't have weird wear patterns, because that's one of the indicators in an AR that I'm getting a weird uneven pattern on my stuff because it's riding weird. Maybe I'm getting bolt canch, something like that. Maybe I've got a buffer that's going bad. I've got a buffer spring that's like compressed down and it's no longer the same length because that's a wear part. It can happen. I'm going to look at that, but I'm going to do a full teardown, right? Like, I'm not going to pull the gas block off of the freaking barrel. Don't do that. But I will pull my rail off and make sure I don't have any jacked up crap on my barrel. I'll make sure my barrel nut hasn't walked itself loose because dumber crap has happened. Check my muzzle device. If it's a suppressor host, I'll make sure that nothing's come out of the way, because last thing I want to do is lose concentricity and like blow the end cap out of my really expensive freaking whisper pickle out there on the end. So I'm going to do that. But again, every range day, I'm going to confirm those zeros all the time, right? That's at least once a month, but it's going to be for all systems: laser, IR laser, offset red dot, iron sights, LPVO, whatever I've got on that gun, I'm checking it. And then there's a little bit of a different one because I also have a sniper weapons platform that doesn't get shot nearly as much. It does get shot, but it is not subjected to the same abuse that the patrol rifle would be for me. So for that one, every month, I confirm the zero. Because again, I don't get to pick when I'm asked to take that shot, and I don't need to figure out that I screwed something up when I take the shot. I need to be ready for the worst, the hardest shot I got to take every day. So I'm going to check that. I'm also going to check all screws, and I'm going to check the battery availability, because I will tell you, if you have an optic that has an illuminated reticle, those things don't have good battery life, like at all. Like if you have an LPVO and you screw this up, your stuff's dead in like 3 months. But I'm going to check those out. And then every quarter, I'm going to check the lube on it, because I do run stuff that stays put and it stays on the firearm where I put it, so I don't have to worry about it. I will tell you, if you see something like, I think it's called boundary lubrication, which is basically what we're doing in a firearm because it's not a sealed system that operates under pressure. We also aren't concerned with like bearing force or works under load. There is no freaking load in this thing. That's a weird marketing gimmick, and I don't know why they do it. And then yearly on that weapon system, I will do the full inspection, the full teardown, check every single thing, right down to hammer springs, pins, see if I have anything doing weird wear stuff that I did not ask that firearm to do, and then I'm going to fix it. But something I will say, and as an Army guy, and every Army Marine knows what I'm talking about, don't overclean your crap. If you fire 5 rounds out of this, you don't need to strip it down to bare metal, right? This thing will work moderate. Like, we're going for moderately clean. Like, I don't have any chunks of crap in the gun that's going to impede its function. Same thing with rifles. I care more about it being well lubricated and there not being anything that can screw it up on the inside. But at carbon buildup, carbon fouling, here's the deal with an AR. The parts of your rifle that are really, really freaking important, self-clean, like the back of your bolt. Like, it scrapes that crap off all by itself. You didn't even have to do it. But I will go through and I will patch the barrel and I will clean it. I don't care about getting it down to bare metal. I just care about it being clean. And that's what I'm going for when I service that system, because the accuracy of that rifle is what's important to me. And it doesn't get shot at the same volume. It might get 2,000 or 3,000 rounds on it a year, whereas my patrol rifle will see 7,000 to 10,000 rounds a year. So that's just something we do, something I look at. Mine also has a light on it. I also can run an IR light if I need to on it, but I will change those batteries out as I need to, because stuff happens like parasitic drain, so it's always a good idea to check. So guys, that was part 2, talking about the rifle. One more part to come, and it's all about some PMCSing stuff that we don't think about. And as I wrote the list, I was like, huh, I should probably check that. So guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Until next time, I'll see you later.